I've been working on a project recently, making lamps and stuff, when I suddenly got back pain. After talking to ChatGPT about my problem, naturally, he suggested a workbench, and I started researching what kind of options there are, and came to a conclusion that there isn't a solid workbench that I could build in an apartment. So this video is about me making my own workbench in an apartment. Workbench, an essential piece of hardware of any workshop. Let me show you real quick what YouTube has to offer. An aluminum profile structure, a 2x4 or 2x6 lumber carcass, an MDF build, or these creative ones. Taking into account these 6 criteria, we choose MDF. So no heavy tools. There are many obvious reasons why no heavy tools is good for us. One of them is that you can see me building this workbench literally in my living room. Also, if you don't have complicated tools, that means that most probably you're a beginner, like most of us. So I tried to use only simple methods to assemble this bench, like these shelf brackets you see. We have 2 types of drawers in this workbench. One is wood slide and the second one is side mount metal slide drawer. Since MDF is much cheaper than good lumber and aluminum profiles, this build falls into the low budget segment, costing me a total of $275. As you can see, the wood slide drawer I built has a bottom simply screwed from the bottom side. That's because the load is transferred to the slides. But this next drawer is built with dados, because it's a side-mounted one. It is better to finish all the dados before you change the bit depth. This way is easier and a more precise one. A key requirement for this workbench was its ability to adapt to different needs and tasks. I wanted a design that could be easily modified or reconfigured to accommodate various woodworking projects. I also wanted to make sure that it could be used with a wide range of useful accessories. Lastly, I wanted the workbench to be easy to move around, as I wanted the flexibility in workshop organization. By sticking to these criteria, I aimed to create the best all-round workbench that would meet my specific needs and provide a valuable addition to any woodworking space. This is how I solved all of these issues. MDF processing was outsourced, allowing me to complete the project using only light equipment. But if you own a table saw, you can process MDF yourself. If you have access to MDF panels with a melamine layer, it is recommended to use those instead of plywood. In my case, I used plywood because I couldn't find MDF with melamine in my area. Melamine is a favorable material for the tabletop of any workbench, because nothing sticks to it. It provides an absolutely flat and nice surface for both dirty and clean work, and it also adds a cool look to the bench. After outsourcing the heavy-duty work, we are left with only light tasks for ourselves, but before that, we have to deal with this bastard. After drilling the holes, these 45-degree cuts I make are for decor only. Process of installing the slides is pretty simple. We just use the drawers themselves for measurements and add shelf brackets as tolerance gaps. Since it is hard to mark the drill spots with the measure tape, I suggest marking those spots with the drill bit when everything is in place. It's a more precise way. As you can see, we have two wood slides on the top and one side mounted one at the bottom. I used the bottom one for heavy stuff. That is why I bought a soft closed option. Makes it much more pleasant to use. As for mobility, I added caster wheels. One side of the bench is always on brakes, the second one has 4 swivel wheels, which allows me to easily change the configurations. I have 4 different configurations for this bench. A plain 1.8 meter long surface, a shorter 1.2 meter long surface, a miter saw station, and a router table. These configurations allow me to build projects of various sizes and save a huge space by integrating the miter saw and router stations into this bench. This thing is a decorative mirror cap. Then we have a hollow tube as a cover and a simple threaded rod with a thread insert. The method I used is an overkill in terms of function. You can make it much simpler by just screwing the pegboard to the side of the workbench. We have 3 main accessory systems: dog holes, T-track and the pegboard. Dogs and the T-track are primarily used with the vise. Here are some examples of those accessories. There are already many accessories available on the market for these systems. However, if you enjoy creating your own tools, like I do, here is a little demonstration of what I already created for the pegboard. Here is me unscrewing the tabletop so that we don't intersect with those screws. You have probably noticed I don't use the standard router plate. This jig is from USA. I will leave a link in the description. One of its best features is this option to pivot the edge guide, which you can see helped me in this situation. Actually, this is Roller's fault. It kinda snapped. Totally Roller's fault. But don't worry, I'll show you how to fix this later in the video. my workbench I used this size for locks, but in plans I made them wider for an even quicker release. So, what do you guys think? Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.